a little bit about your experience with QIP. You've been our quality improvement program student, I think 2023.
I believe that QIP proved to be of great importance in that aspect, summarizing and prioritizing of the topics. So when I started watching lecture of the QIP, I did realize that it is possible by focusing on some important topics only. So in that regard, the QIP was very encouraging. But I think that some of the aspect in which I can utilize my knowledge is that fields such as malnutrition, the aspect of the social and preventive medicine, the preventive aspect of the medicine. So in those fields, I can utilize my knowledge of medical science that I have been learning, sir.
So today we have amongst us a very special guest, Dr. Yashwardhan Singh, who's qualified the civil services exam with rank All India rank 571 in 2023. But one very interesting thing is he's also qualified in his very first attempt, which was 2022, I think, which is 728 rank with 728 rank. First of all, congratulations to you, Yash.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Heartening to see your name again in the list.
Thank you, sir.
To start with, a couple of things I want to actually talk about. Number one, you've qualified in your very first attempt and also first two attempts. You've repeated your results also. The first thing that I want to understand is, how did you navigate through your preparation, at least during the initial phase when you're thrown out in this deluge of information overload? कैसे आपने manage किया the initial phase of the preparation, especially because a lot of our viewers are just starting out their journey. So I think your experience there would really help us.
So I believe that there are different phases of preparation. Of course, in the initial phase that we want to study more and more, there is information overload. We want to diversify our sources. But later on, as we begin to understand this examination, we focus on limiting our sources. The initial focus is referring to multiple sources and revising them one times or not even one time. But later on, the strategy changes. Later on, the strategy is to focusing on just one or two sources. But multiple revision is the key that we understand as we progress in this examination.
So how long did you take to actually get to that stage where you said, this is what I want to do and I don't want to now overload myself with information? How long did you take? How long is it normal for an aspirant to be in that confusion, so to speak?
The initial, of course, 4 to 6 months or 4 to 8 months, it is very normal to be in that phase of the information overload because there is lots of informations across internet. So it is very normal to be in that dilemma. Most of the doubts that I encounter from my junior or some of the others, that is related to in the initial skills, they want to study more and more. They want to diversify their sources. Most's question is that, sir, मैं ये भी पढ़ लूँ क्या, सर वो भी पढ़ लूँ क्या, वो वाली टेस्ट सीरीज भी लगा लेता हूँ, सर मेरा दोस्त उस कोचिंग के नोट्स पढ़ रहा है तो वो नोट्स भी मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ. This is the most common questions that I come through from my juniors and some of the other colleagues.
So it is very normal being that confused.
It is very normal to be confused in the initial stage, sir.
That is very encouraging. What about your, okay, now that we are talking about, 50 days ahead of the prelims, I'm sure you are also going to give the prelims exam this time.
Yes, sir.
One way your insights will definitely help the ones who are giving the exam this time is, how do you cut the clutter in these last 50 days? What is your roadmap for 50 days? And how do you, should we do the current affairs? Should we talk to the mentors? Should we do the tests? There's so much going on around us, especially in the 15 days. And I very strongly believe that your success in prelims exam depends on how you manage yourself in these last 50 days. How did you do this in your very first attempt also, but even, continue to do so now? So if you can throw some light on that.
So I believe that in the last 50 days, we need to highly individualize our effort. We need to see that what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses. For example, if I am not doing well in the CSET, so definitely I need to give more time to CSET. If I am confident enough in CSET, then I can give time to other subjects as well. So there is not one general strategy for all the students, but we need to individualize. But the one approach that can be same for all the students is that we need to focus on the limited resources at this point of time. Whatever notes you have, you need to just revise those notes. Consider that these are more than enough. Focus on those notes only.
So in effect, it is like, you decide today that what you're going to do in the next 50 days and then just do that instead of thinking what else to do. Yeah, that is what.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. And one very important area that again confuses a lot of people is, do you prioritize different sections of the syllabus for prelims and mains? There are certain sections that are very important, at least that is seen to be very, very important. Or do you focus on the holistic preparation? If you prioritize, how do you prioritize? What subjects should be done? Or rather, you should divert more efforts to what subjects and less to what subjects in prelims and mains. If you can just throw some light on that, I think that will also help the students.
So definitely we need to prioritize our subject. For example, I used to prioritize more on the environment and ecology because this is one subject that I have studied during my preparation for the NEET examinations. So I think that if I will give more energy in those subjects such as environment and ecology and science and tech, since I have been studying those subjects for a very long time now, so I can produce an effective result. So that if you think that certain subjects are your strength, then you can focus more upon them so that you can build upon them. But you just need to have some general understanding of all the subjects so that the easy questions that comes on your way, you do not get them wrong. So holistic preparation in one hand and focusing on some subject based on your strength on the other hand. So I think that this is the crucial aspect.
So if this was your first attempt, let me rephrase that question. If this was a first attempt, imagine you are giving the exam in 2022 and the last 50 days, how did you really manage those 50 days, 2022 or even 2023 for that matter? Or what were your learnings from the first attempt in your second attempt? And how was your experience in those 50 days of preparation?
So in the first attempt in 2022 attempt, it was my first attempt. So I wasn't very sure that what I have to study. So like any other student, I was focusing on more and more sources.
Yeah.
There was a confusion that how many mock tests I need to do before the examinations. So that there was a stage of confusion that what to do, what not to do, and that remained up to the last day. I think that was on the 5th of June. That remained till the last day. So that will remain. That is very natural. But in the second attempt, there was very little time left. Final result was announced on 23rd of May, and the examination was on 28th May.
Right.
Due to the experience of that previous attempt, I was able to qualify pre. So this is the code that you need to prioritize that what are your strength and how many mocks you need to give. This is
Right.
highly individualistic decision that one need to take.
Yeah, so one size fits all approach do not work. I mean, it depends
No,
on
sir.
everybody has to do that analysis about themselves more than the syllabus. Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very gracious of you to actually admit that it is very normal to be confused and be in the dilemma and all of that. I think it was really gracious of you. Thank you so much for that. A little bit about your experience with QIP. You've been our quality improvement program student, I think 2023. So
Yes, sir.
can share some of your experiences with QIP. Did you attend all the classes? I don't remember seeing you in the
Right.
physical at least.
I attended the recorded classes.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
So it is very crucial to summarize all the topics because we have around 3 months of the time left. And in those 3 months, we have to do our optional, we have to do the answer writing practice, we have to prepare for the compulsory language examination. So the prioritization of the topics is very crucial. And if we could get the prioritization of the topic from the subject expert, that is the most crucial aspect because subject expert is the one who can really teach us that what is the important. I do
Right.
not have that greater understanding of the history or the other subject because I do not have a background in that. So someone who has completely devoted his life in understanding of the history, he can very better guide me that what is really important. So I believe that QIP proved to be of great importance in that aspect, summarizing and prioritizing of the topics.
We are so glad to hear that. I mean, you use QIP to cut the clutter essentially then.
Yes, sir. Yes, right.
That focused your approach to at least nearing the exam.
Yes, sir.
It cut the clutter. I feel that's what you're trying to tell me. Yeah.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Very gracious of you to admit that. What do you think we can do better so that your experience also will be better in the coming QIP? That's one more thing that I think. Any specifics about QIP program you want to mention? Anything that you remember very distinctly in general?
But I
I know
think
a lot of
that
things have happened after that, but yeah, a lot of things have happened after that in your life. But anything distinct that you remember?
so it was that, as I told you, that there was a great confusion because my interview on the last was on 9th of May. So I was out of touch from all the major subjects. So there was great confusion that how would I be able to complete all the subject again. So when I started watching lecture of the QIP, I did realize that it is possible by focusing on some important topics only. So in that regard, the QIP was very encouraging.
Right, right. Anything that you would like to tell us so that we can also make this experience a little better going forward?
So I think that one aspect is that some of the number of classes can be increased as
Right.
per the need of the teacher, because many times teachers think that I need to take one more class. So if some classes can be increased in the QIP, that would be of greater help, of much greater help.
We'll definitely keep that in mind. Yes, you also qualified your exam in the very first attempt. I think right in the year after your graduation, right? You graduated in the year 2022?
So I was doing my internship at that time. I completed my internship in April 2022. So during my first attempt, I was completing my compulsory internship.
You were you were still part of the curriculum in that case.
Yes, sir. In the first attempt, I was part of it. I completed my MBBS in 2023, April of 2023.
Right. So if I would, I mean, if you want to point out at one thing, what really prompted you to prepare at that stage? I mean, you already had a very good career in medicine that ahead of you, being from a very prestigious college. I think you're from King George's Medical University, a very
Yes,
prestigious
sir.
college in the country. What really prompted you to switch your career into civil services at this stage?
So that I will attribute to some of my seniors, that some of my seniors of the MBBS made it to the service, into the IAS, IPS, and other services, and they were doing some exceptional jobs. For example, Dr. Shubham has been my mentor. He's the IAS of West Bengal cadre.
Nice.
So the guidance of my seniors inspired me a lot. So that is
Right.
where I got the guidance that I can do equally well in the field of the administration as well,
Yeah, I'm
and I can
sure.
utilize my knowledge in the field of administration as well, sir.
I'm sure your knowledge and experience in the field of medicine will definitely add value to the administration in the country. Okay. Just to switch gears a little bit, Dr. Singh, I would like to know, because you're a specialist, what do you think if I ask you, three most important interventions in the area of health that you would like to do as an administrator now that you're switching from medicalized approach to public health approach as a administrator? What do you think are the three most important interventions? Is it specific to the entire country, or is it applicable to the entire country, or specific to the areas? You can take either of the approaches and tell us.
But I think that all the administration who is in service are doing equally well. But I think that some of the aspect in which I can utilize my knowledge is that field such as malnutrition, the aspect of the social and preventive medicine, the preventive aspect of the medicine. So in those field, I can utilize my knowledge of medical science that I have been learning, sir.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure your experiences and knowledge will definitely help the administration. Thank you so much for interacting with us, giving us your precious time, and sharing us your experience, which is definitely going to inspire a lot of us. In fact, those who are teaching also, but definitely those who are attempting the exam this year or maybe even in the coming years. Thank you so much, Yash.